single digits tonight. It's by, of course, tomorrow evening that we start to be concerned about some of that wintry precipitation that continues from Sunday and, yes, now Monday back in it as well. So a lot to plan for, but enjoy the quiet weather today, Lauren, I guess.
Well, enjoy the quiet weather, although it's cold, so we could see issues on the rails, but the good news is there are no issues on the rails right now. So subways are moving along nicely, as well as your major commuter rail lines. No issues on the ferries, just bundle up out there, but mass transit's in great shape, and the roads are for the most part too, but there are a couple of issues. I'll have the details coming up. Darlene and Michael, back to you.
All right, Lauren, thanks so much. Still to come, we have new details, on New York State's COVID controversy in nursing homes, plus this.
Indoor dining is set to resume in New York City at 25% capacity. Many in the industry are asking for an increase on that number and a curfew extension coming up on Today in New York.
Right now on Today in New York, the return of indoor dining. Restaurants in the city getting set to bring customers back inside after months out in the cold.
Plus, resting their case, Democrats highlight the risk of future violence as they push for former President Trump's conviction. And now the defense has their say.
And we are bracing for another round of winter weather. Details on what looks like an ice storm for Valentine's Day. Not very romantic.
No.
Good morning, everybody. Friday morning, it's February 12th. I'm Darlene Rodriguez.
I'm Michael Gargiulo. Lauren Scala here tracking our roads and rails. First storm before us, LaRosa is here with today's weather headlines. I got my wife a heart-shaped box of snow melt.
Well, that's you were so sweet. He's so thoughtful.
So thoughtful.
So thoughtful.
I was thinking ice more like diamonds. We like that.
Oh, that's the ice.
There you go.
There you go. There you go. I'm helping you out, Michael. We have right now not much going on at the Governor Mario M. Cuomo Bridge. Great news. We had some reduced visibility and speed restrictions yesterday. As Lauren was talking about, we're good to go in that regard weather-wise. Tarrytown, though, 15 degrees. We have single digits north and west. 21 right now in the city, 19 in Islip, 20 in Belmar. Just enough of a north-northwest wind that it feels more like 13 with that factored in. It feels like 1, that current wind chill in White Plains. So bundle up. Temperatures stay below freezing. We do get a little bit of sun in here, 26 degrees at noontime, 28, mostly cloudy by 5 p.m. Still dry and mostly cloudy, 10 o'clock temperature 27. All right, Lauren, what's going on with traffic?
Not too much out there. A couple things happening. Route 18 is shut down northbound from Arthur Street to Cranberry Road with an accident there. Then heading over to the Turnpike in the truck lanes northbound approaching exit 13. You have a crash that takes out 2 lanes, so stick with the car lanes if possible. And then looks like the stall may have just cleared on the BQE, but you have delays on the Gowanus still, residual delays getting into it. So you could see it slow going into Hamilton Avenue. Darlene, back to you.
Lauren, thanks so much. 6:01 happening today. Restaurants in the city can welcome customers inside for the first time in 2 months, coming right in time for Valentine's Day weekend. Today, New York's Gaby Acevedo is live outside the Waverly Diner in Greenwich Village as they prepare to open their doors. Gaby, good morning.
Oh, he's in.
Now inside, Darlene, good morning. They just opened up after a live tease, and the owners were so gracious to let us in. The tables are set. Everybody's ready. Staff is ready to go. They are just waiting for customers to come in. It is definitely a big day in the recovery process. More than 11 months, Darlene, after the pandemic took off. Now, the New York State Restaurant Association estimates that approximately 4,500 restaurants closed their doors in New York City in the last year. And obviously, restaurant owners had to adjust their business models, just as they had to do here, more into takeouts and deliveries to survive. But it seems at this point, customers are ready and excited for this partial reopening, and reservations are moving fast. Now, many eateries across the city are planning for what a scaled-back dining room will look like. But as Waverly Diner just showed us, they are ready to go. But remember, at 25% limited capacity, some say it is not enough to make ends meet and are hoping that number increases for the sake of business. Restaurant owners are looking at maybe 50% capacity, but they're also arguing that what would really have a positive impact on the respective bottom lines is extending the business hours past the current 10 p.m. curfew.
How much did business drop during this pandemic for you?
We're down to 25% of our sales.
We're lucky that we're slowed around, that we're actually, we're even lucky that we're surviving,
Next to me, you see one of the new elements that you're obviously remember from the first reopening months ago, the temperature checks, and obviously the contact tracing. Looking into the weekend, lots of people are excited about the possibility of indoor dining for Valentine's weekend and Valentine's Day, especially trying to avoid those frigid temperatures that Maria LaRosa has been alerting us about in the next few days. Reporting live from inside indoor dining at Waverly Diner here in Greenwich Village, Gaby Acevedo, today in New York.
All right, good to see you there, Gaby. Thank you.
The Cuomo administration is responding to a report in the New York Post claiming that the governor's top aide, Melissa DeRosa, apologized for withholding the state's nursing home COVID death toll data in a conference call with lawmakers. Now, in a statement, a senior advisor to the governor said, quote, "We explained that the Trump administration was in the midst of a politically motivated effort to blame Democratic states for COVID deaths." He continued, quote, "We were cooperating with the federal document productions, and that was the priority," adding, quote, "Now that it is over, we can address the state legislature." Now, Cuomo has been accused of underreporting the number of COVID deaths among New York nursing home patients. A new report by a nonpartisan think tank says the actual number is closer to 15,000 and not the 9,000 that had been reported.
Happening today in New York City, Walgreens and Duane Reade will begin administering COVID-19 vaccines. They're part of the more than 250 stores across the city that will offer the vaccine to New Yorkers 65 and older as part of a federal program. They also include Rite and Costco locations. A first shipment of more than 26,000 doses arrived at the pharmacies on Monday, with more expected next week.
We are now hearing that former President Trump was sicker than we thought when he took this walk to get treatment for COVID. Now, that was back in October. The former president flown to Walter Reade Medical Center. New York Times reports, though, his doctors feared he'd have to be put on a ventilator. Sources tell the Times that his blood oxygen level had dropped dangerously low while his lungs were seriously inflamed. Mr. Trump did receive an experimental drug cocktail and recovered.
6:05 right now. House impeachment managers rested their case. That means lawyers for former President Donald Trump will begin their defense later today. Yesterday's arguments included claims that the former president would incite more violence if he's not convicted. NBC's Susan McGinnis has the latest from Washington.
Good morning, Darlene and Michael. The Trump legal team starts laying out its case today after House managers finished up theirs on Thursday, warning senators if Donald Trump is not convicted of inciting the insurrection, he could do it again.
One side rests, the other begins. Today, Donald Trump's legal team lays out its case for exonerating the former president of inciting the January 6th insurrection at the U.S. Capitol.
The evidence they have, under no circumstances, would make out a case for incitement.
Thursday, House managers made their final attempt to convince senators Donald Trump must be held accountable for directing rioters to attack.
The president told them to be there, and so they actually believed they would face no punishment.
Showing evidence rioters would not have attacked if not for Donald Trump.
Does he not realize President Trump called us to siege the place?
They describe a president who encouraged violence not just on January 6th,
knock the crap out of him,
but throughout his presidency, and refused to condemn it afterwards.
January 6th was not some unexpected radical break from his normal law-abiding and peaceful disposition. This was his state of mind. This was his essential MO.
I'm not afraid of Donald Trump running again in 4 years. I'm afraid he's going to run again and lose, because he can do this again.
Donald Trump's attorneys are expected to call the trial political, and Republican colleagues agree.
You know, they need to take seriously their oath of office and start focusing on the American people.
Trump's legal team will also focus on his right to free speech and point out what they call past incendiary comments by Democrats.
Confident of an acquittal, the Trump legal team plans to wrap up its arguments today in Washington. Susan McGinnis, today in New York.
NBC News will continue its special coverage of the impeachment trial beginning at noon. You can watch it right here on News 4 or on the free NBC4 New York app.
It has been a tough 24 hours for our Today in New York family. We lost our incredible colleague, our incredible friend, Katherine Creag.
We all called her Kat. She was funny, always optimistic, and she brightened any room she walked into.
And we've heard from so many viewers who say she made your day better, too. Her smile and laugh always helped us get through the toughest of times.
And our team talked to News 4's Andrew Siff about the woman we all loved so much.
There's so much happening here. Katherine Creag, known to us all here as Kat, doing just Wednesday what she did every day at News 4 for more than a decade.
Reporting live, Katherine Creag, News 4 New York.
Reporting the news with remarkable energy for someone who woke up before sunrise. A sudden shock to all of us at News 4 when Kat passed away Wednesday night after suffering a medical condition. She was only 47.
It's tough to talk about people you love in the past tense.
Tracy Strahan, who also worked that same early morning shift with Kat for a show we call Tiny. That stands for Today in New York. Thinking today about her friend, born in the Philippines, an NYU graduate, married to Bill Gaffner for 14 years. They have 3 kids, Jack, Gemma, and Josie.
Her dad in the Philippines, proud Filipino American from Warsaw, Indiana. And only child like me, so I guess we were sisters.
She's the gold standard. You're operating on adrenaline and no sleep just about every day. But it's harder to be a mother on this shift.
There's also a protest planned for later.
Kat's versatility, tough to match. She covered countless somber stories.
The lot was locked up when that fire broke out. Michael, we'll send it back to you.
I think the thing when I think about Kat is she brought joy to her job every day. She was serious when she needed to be. Every now and then, Kat could be Kat on one of her live shots. And I remember last week, she was at the shore, the Jersey Shore, and she had snow goggles on.
It's a great ski day or a day to be out on the boardwalk, Brandon.
She had loads of holiday spirit and loved building human pyramids with coworkers, and her ingenuity in the field unforgettable. At the women's soccer ticker tape parade in 2019, players and coaches followed Kat's lead.
Here, grab the mic. What do you want to say to your fans?
And took the mic to share the joy.
It's a dream come true. She was always reminding everybody to be grateful for what they had. And I will try to remind myself to be grateful every day because this world is not going to be the same without her.
Her upbeat spirit almost like a superpower. But if she was Wonder Woman, she had the backing of a super camera crew, Freddie Luna and Neil Astro.
I would call her Casey. I said, Casey, you have the uncanny ability of being the happiest person that I've ever known and that anybody could ever be. And I would sometimes I'd be frustrated. I said, how? You're so happy all the time. How do you do it? And she would just say, oh, you could do it. It's easy. I told my partner, Freddie, you and I are very lucky. We need to never forget that. I enjoyed every moment working with her.